The way that companies faced with slow or limited growth today can find productivity, find gains in their business, and then sustain it and hold those gains really needs to start with a look at both not just operations, but the business as a whole. So obviously in operations, we can find quality productivity by reducing scrap, rework, warranty claims. We can find labor productivity, material productivity in terms of just lower prices on material, negotiating better contracts. That's fine, but we need to look more broadly at the business holistically and find where's their business in what would normally we think of as SG&A, IT, marketing, and sales. And we're not talking about just working harder. We're talking about where can we find processes that have steps in them that don't add value, that don't make sense? Or how can we find ways to make, for example, marketing and selling teams more effective? In most businesses, the more time salespeople can spend in front of a customer will generally mean more sales as a whole. So how do we find a way to let those salespeople get more face time with a customer and not doing other things? Right? How do we spend more time for the marketing people to help understand what the market's really telling them as opposed to something else not focused at the customer? The bottom line is productivity. You really can't ever take your eye off of productivity. You need to be driving for at least 2x productivity year over year, right? Doubling your improvements. Frequently, companies go in, they find the low-hanging fruit, they get the easy wins, and they think, well, we've done a pretty good job. And it seems like it'd be harder. But if they look deeper and continue to work, they're going to find that those gains are there. We've seen cases where you go back into the same area 3 and 4 times and continue to get 20 to 25% productivity improvements every time you go back. The other thing that we see as important is the constant, relentless focus on reducing lead times. Lead times across the business are what's key to driving productivity. If you keep looking, not just product lead times, but process lead times. How long does it take us to do something, right? For example, if we took a simple case in accounts receivable, how long does it take us from when we get a check to reconcile, apply the cash, and be done with the process? If that process took 5 days today, and the leader starts asking the questions, but why can't we do it all in the same day? Why can't we have cash applied in the same day that we receive the check? And those types of questions, while in the beginning may not seem feasible, and everyone will say, oh, we can't do that. But if you start to say, well, okay, so maybe it's not 1 day, but could it be 2? And if they can find a way to do it in 2, you've now cut that lead time in half, and the productivity will follow, because the only way you're going to get that lead time is to get the productivity in the process.